This is the Barbados Today morning news for Thursday, August 31st. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. The family of the island's latest murder victims is upset about photos of the men's bodies being circulated on social media. Kyle Burgess and Ronaldo Giddens were shot dead in Marley Vale, St. Philip on Tuesday night by unknown assailants. The incident occurred just outside the old abandoned Ralphie's Mini-Mart. For their cousin, Carolyn Giddens, the photos are a painful reminder of the violent deaths of the two men.
You have no right to go and push pictures of people that have been through these kind of things because you don't know who going to say it, who family member you know who's going to open your phone. You just going to say it. Your family there scattered out on the ground. And then my cousin died, so he shared. When I turned on my phone, I could see how he died. I didn't want that image locked in my brain and remind me. I didn't want that picture to be last time I see him. And now that's sticking in my brain. We always see him on the ground day. I feel that nigga God look conscious in the heart to say, man, family may not appreciate what they're doing. Cause if it was you wanted to see your family on the ground and a dog dead, and people sky all through me. I do not like to see no picture with no violence. Nothing so I don't promote it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. My aunt from America, she see the pictures and now she ain't sleep. And me she calling and want to know what's going on. And they gotta be calling her to make sure she alright.
Giddens says it also appears that the young men in her family have little luck. According to her, the shooting deaths came less than 2 years after another family member, Dwayne Burgess, met a similar fate.
I was listening to music and I hear boom. I said, yeah, that gave me a gunshot, and then next me, badass. And they run outside looking for my mom. And I have a mom. Them is gunshot. My mother said yes, so I saw no running for go to my daughter from the next door, and then see some fellas running. So I start running behind them, and turn around, I said, I'm not gonna let don't go there. I said, why? Come on and record there. I said, man, you make it sport. And they went there, and then started walk. And they come and my cousin, honey, they were all your brains out. They didn't know that Rico was inside. He shared that to somebody from me, like in there. There is 3 men in my family I lived within 2 years. In 2015, my cousin went part in a fight to shoot him. His birthday was 27th August, which was Sunday, and in less than 2 days he better come and join him.
In other news this morning, the National Union of Public Workers is to meet today with the Ministry of Civil Service to resume salary negotiations. Union President Akani McDowell tells Barbados Today that the talks are scheduled for 9:30 and come after consistent agitation. He says although there has been a commitment to the discussions, negotiations can be a lengthy process. The NUPW president adds that the union is insisting on a coping subsidy for public servants in the interim due to the increase in the National Social Responsibility Levy. Government rejected the union's call for a coping subsidy at a meeting of the Social Partnership earlier this month. The Ministry of Education has rejected a proposal from the Guild of Students of the Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies, which seeks to save students from increased tuition fees. Guild President Kai Bridgewater tells Barbados Today he submitted the proposal last month. It would see government paying the increased fees, which amount to an estimated $1.5 million. According to him, the amount would then be deducted from the $94 million debt that government owes the institution. But he was told by education officials that government does not have the funds to assist students at this time.
Their response was that they needed, although we had our calculations for how much would be needed to prevent the increase, etc., they wanted to know what evidence we had to support our statements that the persons were actually struggling. Because they said that if they want to bring this to Ministry of Finance to have funds made available, they need to have strong data, physical data to outline that this is that this is the reality of the students, and students aren't being able to complete their degrees, etc. As well as they need to know the enrollment numbers from the university, which will be accessible by at the end of registration. Because they need to know if this is really the case. Is this tuition increase really affecting the students? They gave us a timeline of 3 weeks, in which in 4 weeks we would reconvene and discuss the findings that we have gotten. But that's where we also need the students. We need the students to come forward and outline the difficulties that you're facing.
Bridgewater says he's also disappointed that the Guild has not been able to meet with Prime Minister Frendel Stewart to discuss the matter, despite a promise by Stewart to do so. However, he noted that they have received an audience with Opposition Leader Mia Mottley. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair is assuring the private sector that government is committed to improving the island's global competitiveness. Barbados has progressively scored lower on the rankings of the World Doing Business report. This year, Bridgetown ranked 117th out of 190 countries, and Sinclair says government must work to improve the island's global standings.
While we may be tempted to challenge certain aspects of these indices, and indeed we have challenged aspects of these indices, and I can report as the governor of the bank that the bank management team is in fact reviewing how that report is done, because we have identified some flaws both in the methodology, in the collection of data, and in the methodology of the report itself. We cannot challenge the fact that as a country heavily dependent on international trade, and we're talking about over $3 billion spent on imports since 2010, that for domestic consumption and production, that we must commit to simplifying and streamlining existing regulations, behaviors, and practices that impact business and trade facilitation.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
We are the tridents, we run it down. Everybody know we the baddest around. Anything test, we will throw that down. Come in, Peter, and tell me how we sound. Yes, lyric, you're talking the truth. When we walk out there, they have to salute. Why when we put on the trident suit, we put everybody from you. Let's go, tridents. Barbados tridents. Let's go, tridents. Barbados tridents. Wash them all. Dust them all. Knock them all. Send them all. Run them all. Brush them all. Get them all. Dust them all. You know why? Barbados tridents is better than anything. Nothing can test with repeating.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back now with news from the region. Trinidad and Tobago's former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan has been formally charged with misdemeanor in public office. The charges were laid more than 30 hours after police arrested him at his home. A statement from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service says Ramlogan was also charged with obstruction of justice arising from allegations in a report made by David West to the Commissioner of Police in 2015. Ramlogan is due in court on Friday to answer to the accusations. In 2015, the then Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesar fired the former Attorney General and the National Security Minister Gary Griffith over allegations of perversion of the course of justice. And finally, more people were forced to seek refuge in emergency shelters on Wednesday as Tropical Storm Harvey moved from Texas to Louisiana. The slow-moving storm has forced 32,000 people to seek shelter since it made landfall last Friday near Corpus Christi in Texas. It was the most powerful storm to hit the state in more than half a century. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says funding for Harvey will exceed what was needed for Hurricane Katrina 12 years ago.
There are more than 32,000 people currently in shelters in the state. When you look at comparisons, the population size and square mile size of the area impacted both by the hurricane swath and the flooding is far larger than Katrina, far larger than Sandy. And if I recall correctly, and I will not have a precise number here, but my recollection is that the Katrina funding was well over $100 billion. I want to say it was over $125 billion. So if we go on a parallel standard, it should be far in excess of that amount.
That's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Good morning.